Welcome everyone. Today is Friday again. It's another day. Yes, so today is Friday again. It's another day. Welcome to the Naked Truth here, Skunk HTV. Last week we had a wonderful discussion about the Bible, and we're talking about the children of Israel, right? The people of the book, right? The people of this great history that we all have read. It's the most famous history that we all, talked about and discussed at some point throughout our lives. So, yeah, we were discussing that. And, we spoke about, we talked about the authenticity of the book, right? We're making sure that the words are authentic enough. And we're talking about um, how do we identify the things that are true and that are not? We got a lot of questions last week, and I hope this week we'll be able to communicate more, connect more with the listeners out there, and I hope they have their view on things as well. And I hope that we can share and have a good dialogue today. So I will be definitely doing my part as discussing some of the scriptures and the Bible, and most of the time I'm paraphrasing some of it in certain contexts. Basically, it's not too far from the truth, right? But it is the truth. So yeah. So we were talking a lot about the end time prophecy surrounds these people, and people around the world know, a lot of them know who the Israelites are. uh you know it would be like, say, a prince got kicked out or fall through the window of the palace and end up outside among the peasants, and the peasants know that he fall from that window, but they didn't care to tell him now that he's a part of their clique. They didn't care to say, well, you fall from there and you're actually the prince. And the friends that knew him becomes distance, and they probably don't know him. And new friends who didn't witness the event knew him, so they don't know his identity. But there, these people who knew him and distanced themselves and probably moved to other regions, other places, know of him and spoke of him and spoke of the story of it. But it would be in today times that they would tell the story, not including him, but somebody else, right? In description, right? So that's what happened to the Israelites. They know who they are, but they're giving their this history. They're trying to, what you'd say, attach this history to another group of people. And when I actually read the scriptures and read the book, it doesn't fit the other group that's are getting credit for it. Do you get me? So we have talked about a lot of things pertaining to the Israelites, and that's our duty here on the Naked Truth, is to establish the truth as we say it, naked as possible, without any covering, without nothing hidden. Just be very blunt and and forward, right? So yeah. So I mean, we have a lot to uncover. As I said, the history, the information is so much, it's so vast, right? It's not gonna take just a day to actually uncover, but we can simplify this. We definitely can simplify it. Talking about the different components, right? Regarding the Bible, right, or regarding the history that people needs to know and to understand, and doing this by connecting the information with people within the present time, because you can't read history that talk about something that transpired in the past, right? And you cannot connect the descendants of those people. Where are they? Are they still alive? And people tend to use this term, well, those people don't exist anymore. Neither does the people from the 1920s exist anymore. But does it mean that their descendants are not here? So they would say this when it comes to the Israelite, a way to deny these people of their identity and to keep them hidden, by saying, well, the Israelite don't exist no more, and God cast them out. He don't want to deal with them anymore, and he's bringing in a new nation. Now, Christianity would say this, and other groups, religious groups, would say this because they're trying to claim the identity of the people, right? That doesn't fit them, and the history that they're claiming and building their religious doctrine off, right, doesn't fit their lifestyle. It doesn't fit them either. But because it's a famous history, everybody wants to claim a part of it and to claim that they're rooted within this history when they're not. So you have to understand what they would do to undermine the legitimacy of the people that actually belongs to that group, right? What they would do and what lengths they would go through. So they will often say that, and Christians will often say the same thing as well, right? They would say the same thing. They would talk about, Paul went out to the Gentiles, and this is their story, right? Paul went out to the Gentiles, so no longer the children of Israel, and they would even come up with the story that, oh, well, it's the Israelites who sold out, the Messiah, right? They're the one who killed him. He came to save them, but they killed him. All kind of different story to change the narrative, right? As if the people didn't know who was coming, and this is their literature, right? And among themselves, it was talked about. But they were under, during that time, right, or that period, they were under Rome, right? Rome was the one who conquered the city and, was the government there. And what Rome did is establish some of the elders, give them high position. And these elders was the corruption among the Israelites. It wasn't the people themselves, but because in Israel, they were always a leader there, right? So the elders were considered the leader who, would have, just like your mother, your father spoke to you, and you would take heed to what they say. So you would wait for them to tell you things because they are more knowledgeable, right? They understood the importance of things more than you. And we had respect for our elders, and so we would wait for them to tell us what to do so they could change our minds. If you have a corrupted elders, then the congregation will be completely corrupted, right? Well, let me make this clear. Not completely, right? But to an extent. There are people within the congregation would have figured out things like, I don't know. But then there's some people who their conviction into, in believing into these people, in the elders, wouldn't go against them, regardless of what they feel or think was right. They would go along with the narrative, like, they said it. They led us out of this before. Why go against them? They would, even they know it's wrong, they would go with it, right? So you're saying the head is corrupted, then you understand that the people that are followers of the head, would get corrupted as well. That's the basic simple thing that took place during the Roman occupation of Jerusalem. When the Romans took over and they were there, they had to take orders because it's conquest. Conquest work already. You go into China, you conquer China now, you take over the government. You put people in place that are puppets, people that would be obedient to you, people that would listen to you. Same thing anywhere you conquer. Russia, Germany, anywhere you go, you conquer this land. The population have to give, have to listen. At a point, they have to listen. They have to bend themselves, right? They have to yield themselves at some point, right? Because they would know now that the country is no longer in the possession of the people that run it before, right? So if the country was taken from these people, and I'll mention this later on back as some people come in the chat. I'm just keeping up the time, the momentum right now. So we must know, right, that if the people, right, who who's been conquered and the government, the head of the people, right, who's been taken as prisoner or been killed, right now the people are without leader. So what they would do, so the people would find favor, right, in the new leader, they would have to select a leader from that country, right? Now this new leader is going to introduce the people to the new the outsiders, and the outsiders later on comes in and take a strong hold of the government, and the people now would learn to accept them as they slowly, force their way in, and becomes normal after a while. Everybody say, oh well, they're the people that bring in, but you have to use one of your own people to build the trust of their people. And that's what basically what Rome did during the time of the Israelites. So they would give the elders position in power, and with this power and the greed that comes behind it, right? These elders now would work for Rome, right? Secretly working for them without, telling the people, right, that, we no longer have control of our country. The Most High is not with us anymore, and we have sinned. They didn't tell the people that they've sinned, that something went wrong, why we're in the predicament that we're in. So the elders didn't recite the information that was taken, right? Or the information that they knew that they were taught, orally by the elders. They didn't recite those to the children. They would keep, that information away from them, and now teaching them the new rule with which the new outsiders come and conquered and have control of the country. They will be teaching them the rules of the newcomers, how to be obedient to them, what to do for them to survive within that community now, because it's a new leader, it's a new ruler in power there. That's what happened during the Roman occupation of Jerusalem. So we have to pay attention to those things if we are to talk about the Bible, and I said, being authentic or not, and the words of the book, if they're true, are the complete words, are words of the Most High Himself. So we have to go back into the origin of things to understood what happened, right? Not just with our own feelings, our thinking that this is how it is. We have to go back into, right, the beginning, right, within our minds, where we have been programmed to think a certain way based on, the influence, based on the influence of our elders, and those who are those people who maintain the authority. So we got to go back into that. So bottom line is, we have to understand when we're reading the Bible what to look for in order to align with what's happening here. And I'm talking about, because you have people, as I said, the Bible is perverted, right? Because the people that, control the information, or the original documents, or the original writings, decided that they would write themselves in the book to claim that identity, as if they were the ones who had a communication with the Creator and had communication with the prophets, and they were living that lifestyle. But it's not them. They don't fit when it comes to the truth, right? They don't fit in to that narrative. So we have to understand this. We're going back to the origin to try to unlock certain mysteries, certain truth about what transpired then in the ancient times. So when Christian would tell you about, that the Israelites, they're the one who murdered the Messiah and they killed him and he's done with them and all of this, but it's clearly telling you that these people are liars, right? Clearly it's telling you that they're liars, right? Because when we go to the Bible and read it, it's telling us something else different. So as I said, Romans 1 through 14, you can read that for yourself. Who pertain it, right? The adoption, the giving of the law, and all these things are pertaining to them. So when we go to the end, we talk about, said that he'll, what he's going to do in the end, when in the end times. We're talking about the end times, and when the end times do appear, when they do come and arrive, right? That in that time, he's going to write the law in their hearts, right? That means the elder don't have to teach the young, and the young don't have to teach. So the law will be written, the same Israelites, he said, not Christians or newcomers or Gentiles. The law still pertained to the Israelites, right? The covenant wasn't broken, right? Because they went ahead and did things. There was a blessing, there was a curse. It means that there is a warning, like there's a stoplight. When you get to the stoplight, you're supposed to stop, so that oncoming traffics or traffics that going the other direction will be able to flow, right? In that respectful manner, right? So there is rules and regulation for breaking or running a stoplight, right? Now you can run the stoplight, and because you were warned that this is why you stop at a stoplight, to prevent accident, right? And allowing traffics that coming from either other direction will be able to go freely without hindrance, right? This is the reason why there is a stoplight. So this would be the blessing, and it would be the curse. So the curse would be you running the stoplight. The blessings would be you stop at the stoplight and you wait and you avoid the destruction, right? That would happen if you run the stoplight, right? So it didn't take away the promise, wasn't taken away because they broke the rules. You broke the rules. That's why you're getting punished, right? If the covenant were taken away, it means that you wouldn't be punished at all. Nobody would care. Like, okay, well, you break the rules. I'm finished with you. That's it. Done. Cut you off. I don't have nothing to do with you anymore. Not still telling you that in the end, he's going to pour his spirit in the earth and you're going to be woken up from your sleep and you're going to be gathered again. So when did Christianity comes in? How did these people replace the Israelites when it's still saying that Israel has a place in the end? Do you understand what I'm saying? But they want to put themselves in this book. People who don't belong in this book are putting themselves in this book. It's like the history, right? Chinese history, right? Belongs to the people in China, right? It's their history. They know their history. They live it, their culture, their custom for thousands of years. So they would have wrote their history reflecting their people. It'd be very odd for someone in the Western or people within the Western hemisphere to claim the Chinese history, saying it's their history when these people lived, in actuality live, what was written in their books, their scrolls, their literature. Now, and the names of the people, the importance and the non-important names will exist within that history. Now, just to think for a second that some people in the West went there and said, well, okay, we're a part of it. Or say they went and they conquered China and they took the literature, they took the writings and they begin to, input their names in the book. But yet when you read the book, it's still reflecting that the Chinese people did this and they're the one who built this and they're the one who do this. But, some of the main characters' name would be changed into European name. It wouldn't fit, wouldn't it? You would look at it and say, but something is wrong here. Why these names doesn't match to the people, right? That are original or indigenous to the area. Why are the name changes? The name changes is not because they're trying to say, well, okay, genetically they're connected to the people. No, right? It's hateful and jealousy why someone would come and claim an identity because it represents something good. And because they're not a part of it and they want to be a part of it, right? So they would change the name. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So in that sense, this is what would have happened during the time of the Hebrew Israelites and or the Roman occupation, and how they got the scrolls and how they were able to change the information on the scrolls because they were, Rome conquered Jerusalem. They had the opportunity to take whatever they wanted. And Rome is the one that pushed Christianity to the Western world. So you'd understand why some of the name had in the book have European pronunciation to it, right? Because this is what happened. But the people, the names that are represented are the names that are tied to the characters in the story. The characters are completely different from the name that is attached to it. That's not the name of the individual. Now, the body of work may be there. It doesn't reflect these people. So this is why there's confusion when a lot of people read the Bible. There's confusion there because they don't understand based on the scriptures, right? Because the Bible is not telling you that in the end, Israel is going to be gathered again. If there's a new people and if they're teaching people in churches that God is finished with the Hebrew Israelite and it's no more Hebrew Israelite, it's this new people now. He never said that. He has never said that at any time. The Bible have said that. Nowhere in the book of it said that. And I understood where they tried to claim rights, saying that this is how they got into the book. But notice they can only show you very small amount of evidence, right? Or so-called evidence that they themselves claim that they attach to this information or attach to this promise, right? And they would try to twist the scriptures in order to fit themselves in it when they're not in it and they're not a part of it. The Bible said Israel, the promise, the covenant, the giving of the law, all were given to them. It has never been given to other people. How could you speak about something that was never given to you? It was only given, these people were chosen above all people that were upon the face of the earth, right? He has never dealt with other people. Never. He's lying or he's telling the truth. So when Christianity are telling you that, you have to ask them, so but the Most High said he has never dealt with any other groups of people. How did you get the information? Who brought the information to you? Now, this information wasn't brought. They would go back to Paul. Now, this is it. Paul letters will tell them that, they had a chance or they had some connection in this, right? Let me see if I can find this scripture for you guys, right? So Paul, right? Paul letters are the one that Christianity use as a stepping stone, or a springboard, to put themselves, right? To force themselves, or to lie to themselves, right? In thinking that they have a place with the Most High. Have you seen a Christian prophet before, or prophets? A person that the Most High God that created the heavens and earth had any contact with? Or have you ever seen anyone in the earth since you were here, right? Not the history that you have read about the Bible and the people that existed and lived then. In this time, right? Because remember, 70 AD, we understood what happened to the Hebrew Israelite, that they were under Rome. When the Messiah was here, they conquered Jerusalem, right? And that's what happened. Remember, when the Messiah was born, Herod, right? What Herod said. Kill all the firstborn because they hear that a king, the king of Israel. This is why it said, I raise up a horn in David, right, to save his people. And it's supposed to be a king of Israel. Then Herod was the king then. He didn't want to hear that. What? A king is coming. Who? And then they hear that, when there's a certain time when they knew and these wise men spoke about him, they went out and said, you know what? Since we can't find who exactly it is, let's kill everybody. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because Herod at that time feel threatened by this new king that they're talking about. Not like they don't know the people prophecy and know that that it's possible that this could happen. He was afraid. So he sent his army and soldiers out to try to prevent the idea. But, you're dealing with the Creator. I mean, what else are you going to expect? There is no victory for you, right? Can't be victory. You can't be victorious when it comes to the Most High. You are no challenge to him, basically. Right? So they would use Paul letters in order to include themselves in the scriptures. But we read Deuteronomy 28 through 68 and we understood who the people are. And many other scriptures in the Bible that declares who they are and give a description of who they are, and even a description of who the Messiah is, and even what the Creator is. They said the Ancient of Days sat thereon, and his hair was as white as wool, as the same thing. So there's a description that's been given. One who sat upon the throne was like a jasper stone, and the complexion, and they explain the color of who he was, and it's the texture here that he has. Same wool here, just like the Messiah had, just like the Hebrew Israelites had the same type of hair, same type of texture here. So if you're looking for an identity of who these people are, it is written there in the book. But you would just, they would just sweep, like sweep over this information because they can't deal with it. When something doesn't represent you, you haven't time or interest, right, to explain or teach it to anyone, because it have no interest to you. Why would I educate something about someone else? Why would I use someone's information to educate other people? This is not me. This is not coming from me or my people. Why should I do that? I'm looking for evidence to connect myself with the story, to prove that I have a place here. This is what's happening in the earth today. Right? So, we spoke about the book and how authentic the book was, right? And when the Messiah came and he spoke to Moses, and and Moses, when he said that had he believed Moses, he would have believed me. For Moses wrote about the Messiah. So if you knew Moses, right, which is Old Testament, so this is when we talk about the Old and New Testament, and how they swing, things around so that you would forget, that these book that they present to us today wasn't like that, right? And we, with the mindset thinking that there's no two volume of anything, and the way that the context of how the words are written or the book is written is completely different from the way that it was written in the ancient time, and how these men exaggerate the story to complete the sentence in English. So you have to read with understanding. Not don't be foolish when you're reading the Bible, right? Now, if we go to Amos, and just to elaborate more on this, to give you more, just to give you more clarity, just to give you more concrete evidence that the Israelites were never done away with, as Christianity and other religious groups talked about, right? If you go to Amos 3 verse 1, right? Let's go to Amos. Let's go to Amos 3 and just read. Let's read from the mouth of, the individual that wrote these information down, right? Let's get it from his perspective, right? Let's get it from his point of view, right? Because he wrote about it, right? He knew what he was writing about. He knew, what was there, what it was, right? So why not? Why not get into, I don't like this Bible. I just get the bigger one. Anyways, but so Amos 3, where is it? But these books are very short book. You have to go through the whole thing to find it. I don't have a bookmarker, but anyway, so Amos 3 verse 1. That's where we're going, right? So now just we're giving some concrete evidence based on information that is there in the scripture, right? And what they're saying outside of what's written. I say, hear this word, right? Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel. against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Well, a lion roar in the forest when he had no prey. Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? You know what I'm saying? So go to Amos 3 verse 1 and just read it for yourself, give you some clarity. Of all the families of the earth, only you have I known. Families of the earth. Now, if you read back again, and let me just reiterate the whole thing to you. I want you to get this very clearly. Israel was never done away with, as they taught you in school, was to teach you to hate the children of Israel, right? Because they have lost their identity and they've scattered. And why? Because he said he'll punish them. He said, because I've known you, I'm going to punish you. I don't know the others, so I don't really care about them, really. But you, I'll punish. He said, hear the words, right? That the Lord had spoken against you, O children of Israel, right? Hear these words that the Lord had spoken, right, against you, O children of Israel, right, against the whole family, right, which I brought up, the whole family. So now, as we spoke in previous videos, what I told you guys, that the children of Israel are not strangers to each other. They are family members, right? They are connected by blood. An outsider cannot be an Israelite. Do you understand me? These people are genetically connected, right? They are brother, sister, auntie, uncle, cousin, whatever you want to label them in modern terms today. But we know that these people are connected by blood, right? They're family, right? Right? I brought up from the land, right, of Kemet, saying, you only, right? You only have I known of all the families, right? Of all the families, right, of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Or your iniquities, however you want to pronounce that. Now, I'm just reaffirming the idea, right? Giving you some context. And the false teaching that you've been getting from your pastors, your preachers, your whoever, teachers, your deacons, your bishops, whoever, the nonsense and the titles that these men claim in the heights of wickedness, and continue to misinform the people and educate them based on the rules from their government and leaders to keep the people in darkness. Now, Amos said it. And I know people are going to say, oh, this was then. And people find all kinds of excuse to say, well, it was then. Well, if everything was then, why aren't all the story was then? They're just trying to cherry pick the things that are necessary for them, right? Are the things that supports, right? The things that supports them. This is what they're picking, and oh, I don't need this, but let's take this. Oh, we don't need this, so let's do this. You know, they're dissatisfied with the idea that they're not a part of what this is, and they're looking to fit themselves in it. How could you fit yourself in something when you don't belong? You can't just say you belong into a family that you don't belong there. You're not a part of that family. You're strangers. You're a stranger. You will always be a stranger outside. So when the Bible talk about the Gentiles, it's talking about people who are not family members of these people. And they're talking about blood. So when the Bible says go out unto the Gentiles, it's simple. It was very simple how they coined the phrase, when he tell Paul to go out unto the Gentiles, right? And the Messiah came and he said the same. I come but for the lost sheep of the house. Why would they be called lost sheep? It means that they didn't know who they were, right? They didn't know. Wherever they were scattered, that's where he went to reawaken them, right? That's what he did. The very people that they said, oh, well, they're not. Remember, Rome occupied Jerusalem. It wasn't people or citizens of other country that came there to live. It means that the people were still there. The citizens were there. The citizens of the land were there. They were just ruled by Rome. So you had Roman scholars, and you'd have the scribes that they're talking about, and the Pharisees, and these groups of people that were there who were Roman officials, right, were there. Those people would have been there, right, in the area. So they would have gone out to listen to hear what this guy has to say, what the Messiah has to say, and they would try, to use some slick way of asking him questions for him to be stoned and for them to go by the law. They still try to use the law of Israel against the Messiah, right? So they try to tie him up all the time. They would go there and say, but how could you say that the Sabbath supposed to be kept holy, yet you're healing people? And so they were looking for any excuse just to stone him to death. And this was the people, or the citizens, right? Wasn't the citizen of Israel, right? They were trying to disapprove this guy, disapprove the Messiah from being who he said he was. And they didn't believe that, and they didn't want to believe that, and they didn't want the children of Israel to believe that either. But the prophecy was already in motion. This prophecy was in motion, right? And because it was in motion, you understood what happened, right? It was in motion already. And that was just a part of the fulfillment of what was supposed to happen. That's why I said I'm leaving, right? But I will return, right? I will go and prepare a place for you. Right? So it was just a part of what was going to happen. A part of what it is. So I will advise you, right? Go back to the Amos 3 verse 1. You could read that for yourselves. You could go to Deuteronomy 7 verse 6 and talk about the people, a holy people unto the Lord we have chosen. And why he would punish Israel and not punish the rest of the people that live in the area? Because they're not Israelites. He, just like he said in Amos, of all the families of the earth, I only know you. So I'm going to punish you for your iniquities, right? Because I had a covenant with you. You know what I'm saying? So, and now you can go to Deuteronomy 6 through 25 and read that as well. You have to live by the Israelites has to live by the commandments. They have to. It's common sense. Because, if you don't, you're going to fall victim, I said Deuteronomy 28 through 68, you will see and compare in comparison to the people that exist today. Right? So let me see. So we're trying to kind of actually bring some light to the truth. And if we go to Genesis 49 verse 1 through when the Bible speak about that the scepter shall not depart from Judah, is that a lie? Nor lawgivers from between the feet until Shiloh comes. That be Shiloh return. So these people will always uphold certain morals and principles, right? And let's go to that, right? So Genesis 49, right? Let's read that. Genesis Let's read Genesis 4:9. Because when we go back to these things, we can understand. When we have people saying things to us about whether or not the Israelites have any place at all, and there's a new people that take things over. Now let's just start from 49 and just have some casual reading with you guys. The rain is falling outside, and we're inside the studio here at Skunk H TV here on the Naked Truth. So why not enjoy ourselves this Friday night, reading some scriptures and talk about some things. And you guys, as you come in slowly, and leave your messages and comments. Let's get it. So let's start at Genesis 49, right? And Jacob called unto his son, right? And said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So, Jacob was telling his sons that something is going to happen in the last days, that this would happen. Now, you still have to ask yourself, so how did the Israelites was done away with when these things are, these are prophecy. These are prophecy. What's going to happen in the last days? The last days is not that moment, but there's a time that's coming. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, all right, and hearken unto Israel, your father, right? Listen unto Jacob, that's his name. He was changed to, they said, Reuben, thou art my first, my might, right? Reuben was the first, and the beginning of my strength, the excellence of dignity and the excellence of power. Unstoppable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiled thou it. He went up to my couch, right? Now, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Both of them are very close. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. They'll be very evil, very, very evil towards whomever it is, I guess, right? Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations, right? Wherever they live, wherever they dwell. O my soul, come not thou into their secret. O my soul, come not into their secret. Unto their assembly mine honor. Be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. So he will scatter them in the last days because they're very angry. So I guess, what he's saying here, he would spread them out. At some point, they won't be together anymore, the Levite and, we're talking about Simeon and Levi, right? Instrument of cruelty is in their habitation, right? Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion, whipped from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So Shiloh, as you know, we talk about the Messiah. So until he returns, unto him the gathering of the people will be. So the scepter, right? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh comes. So there will be the remnants of Judah will continue to talk about the Most High. They will continue to have this connection with the Most High. They'll continue to defend the Most High. This would be how to recognize who they are today. Judah is a lion, right? Whipped from the prey, my son, right? Couched as a lion, as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Right? And listen the part up here. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. They will always stand up and fight against their enemy or injustice or whatever it is. So the scepter shall not depart from Judah. So Judah will have the scepter. And, you can read right through, go down to Zebulun, and you'll find these people. It give you a description, basically, of who these people may be, right? That you can, by your experience, you can understand who they are. By reading, you would see who these people are and the cruelty, instrument of cruelty among the Levites and Simeon, and how wicked they are. Right? It said instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. These men are very, very cruel. Very cruel. In their anger, they will kill, they will murder, they will do things. So, you have to go to this book and you read. And, we talk about Asher, and out of his bread shall be fat, and be shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind, less loose. He giveth, goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful, bought, even a fruit full bought by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have solely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. So this person would be very bold in some. Now I could go to the whole scriptures and give you, but Genesis 49, you can read that yourselves and have an understanding of the breakdown. So the scepter, right, shall not leave Judah. So we can go into that, read that for yourself and try to get a clearer understanding, right? Now, what Jacob was doing was telling his sons that, this is what's going to befall you in the last days. And grant you, most of these things that I've just read to you are parables, right? So you have to read them with understanding. You have to definitely read with understanding to get the clarity there. Okay. So just to give you an idea, because I want you guys to understand, right, that to say that the Israelites are done away with, but then there's promise still exists for them, then someone is misteaching, or misrepresenting the book, right? So I'm giving you scriptures where you can go and evidence to prove what they're saying is wrong, completely wrong, and that you have been deceived by them. Right? No, even in if you read in Luke, 21 verse 1, it's going to tell you that you shall be you shall be fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nation, right? And Jerusalem shall be trampled down, of the Gentiles until, right, the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. So it will be trampled down there wherever these people will be there. Now, this present moment, this is a prophecy for Jerusalem that the people, the original people, won't be there, and there would be another people there, right, to earn their fulfillment. So they're Gentiles. These are non-Hebrew Israelites. So people of non-Hebrew Israelite descent will be living there and causing all kind of ruckus, doing all whatever they want, right? Until the fulfillment of them, till their time is up. It means that they're supposed to be there for a certain time, right? Because the Most High has said this, right? So you can go to Luke Luke 21 verse 1 through, right? Just read it through 24 and you will see. So the Gentiles, right? Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So when this time comes, it's over. Mean that whoever occupy the area or whoever live and claim that they have, genetic ties, right, or ethnic ties to the area have to leave when the Messiah return and the Israelites begin to be gathered to go back in their home. Not your home, but their home that was taken from them, and they are now living among other people in other areas among other people and calling that their home. But their true home was promised. The land of milk and honey that was promised to them by their Creator, that was given to them by their Creator, right? And that's their home. And they have to return to their home. And now you have to look and say that you're sorry for the people who are not knowledgeable, or the people who stay there for whatever purpose, right? That the Most High has pulled a veil over their eyes to keep them there as a sacrifice, or as a destruction, and the time of destruction that the Israelites shall take out their anger upon them there in the land. So for those people who are sitting down, comfortable living in Jerusalem today, and thinking that that's your home and you're tied to this country because your people immigrated there and you live, you better start doing your studies to find out the judgment that is coming. You don't be caught in that day. Don't be caught in that era, in that day. It won't be good for you. No, and the Most High had said it many times. And if we go, and the laws, everything was given. We'll go to Leviticus 20, verse 23. Ye shall not walk in the manner of the nation which I cast out before you. For they committed all these things that, and this is very important, why the Most High didn't chose them. Leviticus 20, verse 23, right? And I want to read that a little bit. Leviticus 20, verse 23. If you guys can get that, right? Leviticus 20, verse 23. And when ye shall come into the land and shall have planted all manner of trees, right, for food, then ye shall count the fruits thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years shall it be. As uncircumcised unto you, it shall not be eaten. It shall not be eaten of, but in the 4th year, all the fruits thereof shall be holy, to praise the Lord withal, right? And in the 5th year shall he eat, right, of the fruits thereof, that it may yield unto you, right, in increase thereof. I am the Lord your God. So there are many laws pertaining to how the land would be functioned without being, that you wouldn't have drought and all these other things happening, right? I am the Lord your God. Ye shall not eat anything, right, with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe times. Right? You shall not round the corner of your head, neither shall thou mar the corner of your beard. He shall not make any cutting in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord your God. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. Let the land fall to whoredom. Right? And the land became full of wickedness. You shall keep my Sabbath, right? And reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord your God. So regard not of them that have familiar spirit, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. Thou shalt rise up before the array head and honor the face of the whole man, and fear thy God. I am the Lord thy God. So we should honor the elders and respect the elders. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwell with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him, right, as thyself. For he was strangers in the land of Kemet. I am the Lord your God. So these are laws, and ye shall not, and ye shall do no unrighteous in judgment, right? In mystery yards, in weight, or in measure. Just balance, just width, and just ephod, and just thin, and just hin shall he have. I am the Lord your God, right? Which brought you out of the land of Kemet. Therefore shall he observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying again, Thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, whomsoever he be of the children of Israel, right? Or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of this his seed unto the Moloch, well, that's the devil, right? To Moloch, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones, and I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given of his seed unto Moloch, right? To defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. So living in Israel, which is the city of the Most High, is the Most High sanctuary, that's his holy place. You cannot profane, you can't do nothing wrong there. This is why the children had to live a certain way. Right? And where we at? And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth of his seed unto Moloch, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man, right? And against his family, and will cut him off, right? And all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Moloch from among their people. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirit, and after wizards, and to go a whoring after them, or I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God, and he shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord which sanctify you. For every one that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He had cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, right? This adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And the man that lieth with his father's wife had uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man lie with his daughter in law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wronged confusion, their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with womankind, both of them shall commit abomination. Both of them have committed abomination, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man taketh a wife and her mother, what is it? Oh, yeah. And her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they. There be no wickedness among you. And if a man lies with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and he shall slay the beast. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down there, it's the same thing, shall be put to death. And the beasts, they shall surely be put to death. So even the beasts in this situation, right? And we're talking about, hold on. We're talking about, Genesis 20. Right? Genesis 20, 23. So Genesis 20, verse 23. So this is where we had my brothers and sisters. So I want you guys to read. And the law is here. I mean, it's all over the book. You can read it for yourself. You can read from 23, 20 to 23, and just to get some clarity on the scriptures. Now let's read 23 here. And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things. Now therefore I abhorred them, but I have said unto you, he shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it. A land floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. Now this is Genesis, and let me just take some notes here 1 second, right? It's very simple when we try to overlook the truth, right? And the truth is there plain in front of our very eyes, right? So we're talking about 23, right? 23. And we need to read the scriptures, to get an understanding about the lies that's been told. And there are many lies. There are many, 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 many lies that's been told, right? Now, before we get to when we have read right, when we have read 20. So when we have read when we have read 20, Leviticus 20, and we go to all of these things, right? Where a man also lie with a mankind, all of these things, right? It's describing all the way, and the beast, they shall be surely be put to death. A woman lie with a beast, and shall his sister, his father, all of these things that go against what the Most High said. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he had discovered her fountain, and shall had uncovered the fountains of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among their people. Meaning that the woman menstruation at that time, if he take her clothes off during that time, this is what's going to happen. And they're very strict laws in Israel that has to be followed. And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother, sister, nor of thy father. Now, all the things that it's saying here, their iniquities. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, so it even go down to uncle, wherever you want to say, cousin's wife, whatever, and uncover nakedness. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He had uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless, right? Now, in this case, it shall be childless. He shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that he, where is it? All my statutes and all my judgment to do them, that the land where I bring you to dwell therein, right? Spew you not out. So if you don't do this, wherever the Most High put us or put his people, they will be cast out if they live differently. And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nation which I cast out before you, for they, right, committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. So all of the things that you read about, sleeping with animals, sleeping with dogs, sleeping with cats, and this is Leviticus 20, verse 23. The nations, right, have done all of those things and are still doing them today. Do you see in America what's happening? This is what the nations have done. They are not Israel. So for Israel to follow them, to do their ungodly deeds, this is what's happening to the nations today. This is what these people are. It's in their blood to do these things. That's why they're comfortable with doing them. Sleeping with animals, men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women. They're comfortable to do these things because the Most High explained that all of these nations, him said that I kicked out before you. He already kicked them out and took their land from them and said, oh, I'm finished with you, right? Kicked them out before the Israelites. All of them, he said, done these things. They have done all these ungodly things already. So we're not supposed to walk in the manner of them. We're not supposed to follow them, celebrate their holidays and all of these other things, right? Because these people that support these things, it means they are the nations of people that are descendants from these people who continue to perpetuate these ungodly deeds in the earth. We're not supposed to follow them. Do you understand me? We're not supposed to do what they do. We're not supposed to walk after them. They slept with their mother, their sisters, their auntie, their uncle, their cousins, their brothers' wives, their uncle's wife. They uncovered their uncle's nakedness. They uncovered their father's nakedness. They slept with the woman during our fountain. All of these things, my friends, brothers and sisters out there, these nations have done it, and the Most High Creator has kicked them out. Leviticus 20, verse 23. You can go there yourself. Right? Leviticus 20, verse 23. You read it yourself. And it's very important, this part of the 23, the scripture, right? 23 is very, very important to understand that. And ye shall not walk, right, in the manner of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, he shall inherit their land. That means whatever land they had or occupied, the Israelites will have their land. A land that flowed with milk and honey, right? So whoever these people are and their descendants today are doing the same thing that the book already speak about here in right? Now, but I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, right? And I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that is flowed with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from the other people. He had separated these people from the other people that dwell here. So there's a distinction again, that Israel was separated and they're not the same as the other groups of people. They don't do the same thing. Ye shall therefore put difference between clean beast and unclean. And this is why there's a difference between them now, because he had put that, right? And between unclean fowls and clean, and ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast or by fowl or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the and that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I am the Lord your God. I'm holy, right? And have served you from other people. I've separated you from other people, that ye should be mine. I am also a man also or woman that had a familiar spirit of that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. So wizards, people in that type of thinking, doing evil, wicked things, shall be stoned and put to death. Israel. Leviticus 20, verse 23. Express to us that Israel was separated from the other people. So when the Bible talk about Luke 7, right? Luke 7, was it Luke 7? Yes, it was Luke 7. It was Deuteronomy 7, verse 3. Is it Deuteronomy 7, verse Deuteronomy 7. Anyways, there are the people are an holy people unto the Most High, right? He has chosen them, right, above all people, right, for himself. And it couldn't be more clearer than that, right? It couldn't be more than that, right? Now we talk about where is it, the new covenant, right? Even in Matthew 10, verse 5 through 6, the Bible tells you about go not into the ways of the Gentiles. It's warning you. So somehow the Gentiles become something important when they were already cut out. You know? So we have to read very carefully, right? Where is it? And if we go to Daniel 7, verse 27, right? Where the Most High said, the kingdom under the whole heavens shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. So, you have to understand, say, there were people here who didn't decide to change or to be good. They were corrupted from the beginning, and they fit into that corruption. They just loved it. That's their love, something that they loved. So basically, because they love that from the beginning, they were cut off. The other nations, the other groups of people. As the book has said, of all the families of the earth, what number to call? The number 718-676-0853. That's the number, but I'm alone in the studio today. I'm alone here right now. I think the other guys are coming later on. So we're going to remember that the phone, you call, and yeah. Tasha, Terry, big up yourself. We're definitely going to try to pick up your phone. Sorry about that. I have to apologize to you based on that. Yeah. So sorry about that, Tasha. Big up yourself as usual. And definitely greetings to everyone that comes in here with us as we discuss the Bible. I'm trying to, as you guys already know, as you guys already know, we're talking about the title of the video is is the Bible the complete word of God? And this is what we've been discussing many different series before, right? We're talking about that, trying to give people some understanding of the way that we think about the Bible and the way that you guys think about the church. As I've just read here in Genesis 20, right, verse 23. I'm sorry, Leviticus 20, verse 23. Right, as I've read there for you guys, I want you to understand why the Israelites are different, and they're not supposed to be inclusive to any community that they live in. But because they lost their identity. They were discontinued from their heritage, so they don't know who they are. But you guys can read from 23. Leviticus 20, verse 23. And I just want to read this again because I want you guys to understand this, right? What the Most High has said to the Israelites and how their community were, and how today community doesn't fit what this is saying. Neither the community within the land that you call Israel today doesn't fit anything here, right? Because these laws are very strict and only pertain to the Israelites. So 23, verse 23, right? And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, right? And this is 23, and if you read from 20, you'll get an understanding of what those things are that they did. And it's talking about bestiality, talking about men sleeping with men sleeping with other men's wife, adulterers, so it's talking about in homosexual, it's talking about everything. And not only that, from unclean food right down. So you have to do these things. So Israel is very important, right? And let's read further, because I want you to get a real understanding of the scripture when what I'm talking about here. No, and ye shall not walk in the manner, right, of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, right? And I will give it unto you to possess, a land that it floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from the other people. Did you hear that? He had separated the Israelites from the other people that dwell upon the face of the earth. Right? You shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean. So these laws that they're having debate about here in America and around the world, it's not your concern. It's not our concern how people find the Bible and try to use the Bible as some, weapon, right? Or tools to bring light to their unjust ways, right? Or their wicked ways. Now, you have people who grew up eating pork, and because that's what you want to eat, they're looking for justification here, right? They're looking to justify that pork is good to eat, right? So they will read this book and try to find or pinpoint some way that, oh, see, the Bible says everything was created clean, but nowhere near did it say that. It said, were we, the Israelites, supposed to put a difference between the clean beast and the unclean one, right? Why these things were important, not for the people that are outside, not for the Gentiles who want to eat pork and want to, embellish themselves in other ungodly things. They already was cast out and the Most High abhorred them, right? They were cast out before Israel and were separated, and the children, right, were separated from the other groups of people. They were separated from them, right? So now the difference between clean beasts and unclean, and clean fowl and unclean fowl, right? And ye shall not make your soul abominable by beast or by fowl, right? Or by any manner of living things that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. From the Israelites, he has separated these things and tell them that these things are unclean, right? Why they're unclean, we're going to get to that, right? Why are these things unclean? And ye shall be holy unto me, for I am the Lord, am holy, right? And have served you from other people, that he should be mine. Severed them, cut them off from other people, that so now they belong to him. So if the Most High is holy, he know what he created that is good, bad for his people. He said, I don't want you to eat this, you eat this, right? Isn't his word more than the words of men who claim because of their taste buds that they want to eat pork and other abominable things? Who you should believe? Isn't the Most High what the Most High say? Yeah. Now, this has to do with Israel. It has nothing to do with the people who live in their countries and had their own culture doing their own thing. The people that he had no connection and he had no conversation with, no encounter with, right? They're just living in the earth, right? The Most High said that he is holy, right? He said, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that he should be mine. A man also, or a woman, that had a familiar spirit, right? And we're talking about people who claim that they're reading and they know all kind of different things, right? This is what we're talking about, right? A man also, or a woman that had familiar spirit, right? Or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. Right? So now you understand what I'm saying, my people. The Israelites, not the people in America, Russia, China, whoever they are, wherever they are, France, wherever you are, has nothing to do with this. Right? Those societies that are formed by these members are these people, and they do whatever they want. It's up to them, right? It's up to them to do that. It has nothing to do with the Israelite. We should not debate with them based on their culture, right? What they want to do within their own culture. It's up to them. We're not supposed to walk after the other nation or walk in the manner of the other nation. We're supposed to do our own thing, which is our own thing. We're supposed to follow the laws, statutes, and commandment. That's what Israel's supposed to do, not the laws in the other land living and doing the things that they do, because the Most High, you read 23, right? The Most High explained. So if you go to Leviticus 20 and you read, you will understand what the other nation did, right? And what they're doing today would tell you that these nations continue in their evil and wicked ways. They have never changed. This is why the very things that this book express, right? Everything that is expressed, and we're talking about from 20, of course you can go before that, right? And you'll understand in context everything more clearer, right? So we're talking about from 20 come down, right? And if you read from 20, right, or before that, you can go. You shall not round the corner of your beard. All of these things, right? And you go all the way to committing adultery with another man's wife, even that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife. Now, all of these things, now your neighbor's wife, your cousin's wife, your uncle's wife, you're uncovering your uncle. Your father's wife, you're uncovering your father, right? Your brother's wife, right? All of these things, the law, the Most High is telling you, right? All of these things. Sleeping with animal, bestiality, right? Women sleeping with women, men sleeping with men. The Most High explained it, 23, right? In Leviticus 23, it's been explained that all of these things that you have read led up to 23, that all the nations out there have done these things. So he has kicked them out because of this is their traits. This is what they do. This is why when you go in the society, you find that men, they're marrying to animals now, right? Women are marrying women, men are marrying men, because this is the traits of these people, the very people that were spoke about here. Their descendants continued in their wicked ways, right? Their descendants continue to do the very things that they're doing right now, right? As you read in 13, right? Leviticus 20, verse 13, right? If a man lie with mankind as he lieth with woman, both of them have committed an abomination, right? They have committed this great abomination, and they both shall be put to death, right? So there are many deaths here, right? For a man, and it's not just by homosexuals alone, adulterers too, sleeping with your friend's woman, right? Being envious of your friend's wife. All of these things are sin for Israel, not for America or the population in America. Israelites, the descendants, the bloodline of Israel, not the people that live within the city and are embodied within this culture. We're talking about the people, right? The people, the children of Israel, the ones that are scattered among the nations, the ones that are living beneath, right, the poverty line. Those are the people we're talking about, the Israelites, by blood, descendants from Jacob. You understand? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the society, America or Germany or Russian and their culture and what they deem is right for them and their people, and what laws and statutes that they pass within their laws that they establish for their people. We, as Israelites and other people, our other brothers and sisters, should not oppose this. This is not our right to oppose. This is their law within their system, within their society. They prefer to have male and male together. They prefer marrying to animals, dog, whatever animal, cat, whatever they feel is right for them within their society. Let them do it. We should not stand against them, fight them for what they do. The nations were cast out before us, right, for doing all of those things from then to this very present moment. So let them do what they do. Do not go out there telling them that they cannot do this and they cannot do that. This is their society. They do whatever they want. You are a stranger here. You keep thinking that you're inclusive to this place. You're not. You're a stranger here. This is not your home. You are taking your descendants of slaves. Means that your father, your parents, or great great grandparents were living here. They were taken here by captive, right? As captives, and you happen to born here, right? You happen to born in this country here. You're not here to conform or to change the constitution, that laws that they put in place for their people to govern them, whether it's good for them or not. It's not you to come to say, well, you can't do this. You understand? What you do not walk in the manner of the other nations. Know yourself. Know yourself. Separate yourself from them, because the Most High has said it. And let me read it again for you. Let me give you more clarity. 24. But I have said unto you, right? You shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess, right? A land that it floweth, a land that floweth with milk and honey, right? I am the Lord your God, right? Which have separated you from the other people, right? The Most High has separated you from the other people who continue to do what they want to do, right? Continue to do whatever ungodly things that they feel is right to them. They want to sleep with men, women want to sleep with women. Good. You go ahead. This is in their society. They have the right, within their rights, to do whatever they want here in their society. This is not our society. We're right now we're infringing upon their society, because we're here by what you'd say default, right? Our ancestors came here, or were taken here, and not because they were taken by force by these people. These people were used to take them because of the sin that they committed in that time. So the Most High said, all right, I'm going to put a nation against you with fair countenance, right? And they're not going to have love for you, for neither the young or the old. Did you see that happen? Do you see in this country, right? And the rulers and those men in authority, how they treat the people that they call black, by the way, right? Which is a byword, which the Bible spoke about. Deuteronomy 28 through 68 spoke about this. You can go read that yourselves, right? Which is a byword, right? Black is not the name of a nation or people, right? So we understand where the byword. So now, have you seen the way they treated the young and the old here? But didn't the book tell us that already? That these people, a nation, shall be swift as the eagle, right? Fly it, right? And they will have no love or no the care for neither young or old. They'll kill anybody. Haven't you seen that in modern times? They kill old women, young, old. They don't care. You're in a wheelchair, you're not in a wheelchair. They have no sympathy, no empathy for you. Get that in our head, please. Now, you have to pay attention very carefully, very keenly. When you're studying the Bible and how we view the Bible, because we take things to support what we already been indoctrinated with. This is wrong, right? When we're doing that, you're not supposed to take things based on what you have learned. You're in a system, right? You're in this bubble, and a lot of people are. You learned this when you were younger. You're stuck in this bubble. How to get out of it, you can't. And you're surviving based on what's inside the bubble, right? What they tell you. So the leaders, the rulers of the bubble, is going to tell you are the founding people, are the founding fathers, you want to call them, who established themselves, say, I found this bubble. I established this bubble. Guess what? I'm going to regulate my rules, my laws, what I think is best for me, my people, myself, in this bubble. If you don't want to live by it, then, hey, guess what? If you want to be an electrical engineer, then guess what? You're going to have to go right? Through the institution that I set up, right? And you're going to learn what I write down or what I deem to be right, whether or not it's not outside of here. This is what's right here. You will learn this. For you to function here in this bubble with us, you're going to have to learn this. And for I could tell you that you're smart because you achieve the level, right? The level of what I said to be smart. Now, you can't say, oh, I'm smart because I know everything. But I put these information together, right? So for you to deem or say that you're smart, I mean that you have to learn my program. This is my program, not yours. So many of you out there who has been programmed and don't even know that. Practically everyone. Because you need academia as a way to propel yourself in this society, for you to get a job, and then you even look around and tell your children that they're stupid because they fail, right, to learn the recipe that was forced upon them. They didn't want to learn it, or they didn't have the mind to absorb it. You said they're so dumb. You call them all kind. You put your own children down. You put your own friends and family down because of what? The information that was created by someone, right? That in a society, it becomes standard, and you think because you live within that society that this is the ultimate truth to you, and it's nothing else outside of that. How foolish is that? This is what happened with us here. Carelessly sitting down and absorbing the program every day and thinking we have to reach. The level that you're reaching is not within your own mind or your own thoughts. We're trying to achieve something that somebody sat down, right, and put it together. They sat down and they put it together the way they want it. And you're basically following a blueprint. That's basically what it is. So this is why when we read the Bible, we need to understand in depth. Right? We have to understand in depth what it's talking about. And I already told you guys, the book explains everything. Israel is not done away with, as the Christians will tell you. That's what they do. And it's called replacement theology. That's what happens when Rome, who conquered Jerusalem, took the scrolls, right? And then translated. And then they were the ones who pushed Christianity around the globe. Do you understand? You understand the foul play that took place there, right? All churches, every single one, lead back to where? Rome. They are the head of Christianity. They're the head of it. Whether you want to call yourself Catholic or whatever, you're part of the organization. You're part of that umbrella. You're under that umbrella. You can't take yourself out of it. Every single church in America and around the world goes right back to Rome. You could call yourself Anglo-Saxon. You can call yourself the Ten Commandment, the Temple of whoever, whatever name you choose to establish that business. This is why you have the name. It's just a business you're registering with the state. So whatever name you want to call it, House of God, whatever name you choose. You have to choose a name. You don't have to call it Catholic. They're not expecting you to call it Catholic, but guess what? You're still under their regime. Whatever you want to say, you could talk against the Catholic or talk against whatever, but guess what? It's the same branch of people, right? And you're getting payments from the government as usual, as all of these churches do get incentives to keep up the charade. Keep it up. Keep teaching these people about Jesus. Keep teaching them. Educate them on Jesus and let them believe in Jesus, because that Jesus is coming to save them. Right? It's very odd and strange that all this time everybody who is going to church haven't witnessed any miracle whatsoever. But people in their imagination will come out and say things that they have what they have seen. Oh, I've seen this image and it comes to me, and all of these elusive talk, right? People come and say all kind of things, right, to support what they believe. And it's far from the truth, right? Far, far from the truth. So I go there to say this, that the Bible in order to understand it, as I said, not everything here is true. And when we begin to understand that, then we understand that our literature, right? Our literature, our history, our ancestors' history has been tampered with. It's been perverted. There are a lot of missing elements. There are a lot of exaggeration, putting the story in the English language, right? And have to complete sentences and have to put quotation marks, full stop, period, whatever, right? All of these things have to, write a certain way within the English language, right? According to the rules of the English language. So the translation has to be this way. So verse, chapter 3, verse this. None of those things are on the scrolls. This is why we have to go back to the origin if we want to know what the truth is. We have to go all the way back, study, and understand it. And if you're not serving the Creator, you're not going to understand what's going on. You're just a part of what the society is. You know what I mean? So we have to go back. Nobody should feel bad. Nobody that's living here in this society should feel bad. Be proud of who you are. Right? Be proud of who you are, doing what you want to do. And let everybody else be proud of what they want to do. Don't push your lifestyle on another person, right? And then you talk about freedom. How hypocritical are you and are they to do such thing? Freedom, what is freedom? If we're going by definition, right? You cannot, right? You cannot impede someone else's progress. Nobody cares. You do what you want to do. Nobody wants to see you. Be happy with yourself. Do as you please. As long as no one is obstructing you, right? Why should you worry about their opinion, what they say? We could all have our own. I don't believe in opinion. It's someone's thoughts and ideas of what they think. Truth. We believe in truth. Right? You want to eat orange, and I don't like orange. I could say I don't like orange. Doesn't mean because I use the word. See, the word is a problem, Word becomes a problem to people because they don't understand it clearly, right? Because I said I don't like orange, right? Doesn't mean I have an inherent hate for orange and I need to go around and burn all orange trees, right? Doesn't mean anything. It means that this is not fruit of choice for me. I just don't want that. I don't care. I just don't like orange. Anybody can say that. Oh, you can't say this. No, we can say this on things that we deem to be right, inanimate. Things that are not life or have no life in them. But we can't say that to anything else, right? Because people with feelings and emotion begin to get triggered by a person's reaction, right, to them. Now, I don't like apple. I don't like this coat. Doesn't mean I'm going to go to every store and tell them stop making these coats. You need to burn them or whatever. No, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a way of communication and how we express ourselves using the English language. Simple, there are meaning behind some of the words that we use. And because many people are using these words every day, some of them don't understand it. Even they speak it every single day, they do not understand. For instance, there's a word called discover, right? And a lot of people, I'm talking about everybody that I've met so far, have the same problem with this word. Now, the word discover, right, doesn't mean uninhabited. This is the problem. It doesn't mean uninhabited. You know what that means? Doesn't mean that people are not there because you go somewhere to discover it. Discovering is a first-time thing, something that you went and see, an experience that you have that you never had before, never thought about, never knew. Right? So you discover it. If you go to Europe or you've never been there, you discovered Europe. Now, discovery doesn't mean that it was uninhabited and you were the first person that was there. And a lot of people have problem with this English words. And they make it a problem. It doesn't mean uninhabited, okay? So please, my people, get that right. It's just a word, and the word has certain meaning to it. And if you know this, you'll be looking like a fool to try to talk to someone who is advanced in academia and saying to them that, oh, like Columbus, for instance, that's what they would use. He didn't discover anything. How could he discover when people were here? But the fact is, and the level of ignorance, ignorancy doesn't mean that you're a fool. It means that you don't know. You're ignorant to the fact, mean that you don't know. Doesn't mean that somebody is embarrassing you. The words it sounds a certain way, right? No one is embarrassing you when they say you're ignorant. It means that you don't know, right? So if we're going by definition, a lot of us, we speak the language, as I said, but we do not know the meaning of the words that we're using. And this will cause a problem, right? And cause more confusion among people. Do you understand? So if we don't know the word, then we just don't know it. We're not familiar with the word, right? So someone say you're ignorant doesn't mean that, okay, I'm ignorant to the fact. I don't know what it is. It's not to be offended by that. You're not supposed to be offended by it. You know what I'm saying? So when they say discover, it doesn't mean that it was uninhabited. And on top of that, their history telling you, right, that there were people here. So they're not denying the fact there that there was no one here. So see, it's very, I don't understand how do people, see this. They didn't tell you that there was no one here. They discovered. Discovering is not uninhabited, please, my people. Right? In their history, they told it when they came here, they saw people. They didn't deny that there was anyone here, right? So why are we saying that this person didn't discover? It's because we don't know the word, or you don't want to give credit to the person who said they came here to discover this place. Now, the word discover can mean more than one person, because I could go somewhere that my family has never gone before, and I'm the first to discover this, and I go back and tell them about this. So it's very simple. Anyway, I'm just trying to make it clear that the English language can be very confusing when we do not understand the meaning of words, right? And we can create confusion when expressing certain thing, or we're talking about the truth about certain things. We'll be taking it from different points because we don't know the meaning of the words. Now, the Bible spoke about, right? And let's go to John 3:16, right? For they say, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life, right? Now, when Christians hear this, the whosoever, how they take this out of context again, just like the word discovered, they will tell you that, okay, so what about what the whosoever that is said? But now, to get some context to this, right? You have to go back to where the Messiah said, I came, but, right, for the last sheep of the house of Israel. I came for the people that are lost. Didn't come for anyone else. So he's telling you then, right? So the whosoever would be pertain to the people that he was talking to within the setting, within that congregation, within that time, within that space. Now, this wasn't a person that was addressing the entire planet. This is how we look. And when I said ignorant again, how people are ignorant to the fact. This wasn't a country and a government that stood on a podium and speak, and there were cameras, right? Right, that was giving live feed to everyone who had television boxes in their homes, right? Transmitters where they could pick up, right, the transmission, and they would be able to see this person speaking, and this person that's represent this country is speaking to everyone within this country. Like when America, the government of America speak, is addressing what? America is addressing the state. Whosoever live within the country, not China, not Russia, not any other country, the people whosoever live within this country, I'm addressing you. Now, the Messiah wasn't on television where he was streaming all over the world and he was talking, well, the inhabitants of the earth. Notice when the Most High speak about the other people, on the planet, he said the inhabitants of the earth. He's talking about everyone. Rarely use this term, but this is what he used when he's talking about the other groups or other groups of people on the planet. He wasn't on television or on Instagram or Facebook and speaking to everyone when he said, whosoever believe it, right, shall not perish but have everlasting life. So this whosoever, it's not pertain to the whole entire planet. It pertained to the people who were witness there at the moment, right? Who was a part of the congregation at the moment. Those people that were there, he were talking to them. Ye men of Israel. That's who we were talking to, not other groups outside, because he already stated to you that, listen, I come but for the last sheep of the house of Israel. So, if it wasn't so, then he would have never said it. Or if you're thinking that it's another way it meant, then you're saying that the Messiah is lying then. Whatever he said is not true. Then you got to go and deal with him, right? Yeah. Well, Shaul, big up yourself, my brother. Yeah, I explained to them about the New Testament and this idea of New Testament and how people have been tricked with this idea, thinking there's a separation because someone is trying to control the narrative, is to lead people to believe that now we can use an extended version to distort the truth, right? And this extended version, we're going to say this is what it is now, and we're hard. But when you go back to the first book, right, the scrolls that Rome stole from Jerusalem, all of these scrolls that they stole and they tried to translate, right? When they translate the first Bible, Rome translate the first Bible, what they did, they took from the book, right, other books or other scrolls or other information that was written on other scrolls that were too much for them. Remember, the Romans are not Israelites. They're different culture, right? They don't want to live by the rules of another culture. No culture wants to do that. Chinese don't want to live by the rules of America. America don't want to live by the rules of China. What you call that? And Israel don't want to live by the rules of Egypt. And other countries, nobody wants to live by the rules of anyone, right? So if you get information that doesn't suit you, you're going to change it. You're going to say, well, I like this, I don't like this. No, I'm going to take this out. This doesn't suit me or my people. That's what Rome did. And these books are information, let's call them information that were put aside and they didn't compile them into books, right? This information was called the Apocrypha, right? Someone put these information in a book, another book, right? Compile them. So they call them the Apocrypha, right? Now, these were books that were already there before. Now, these are the books that later are going to be translated when King James come about and said, you know what, I'm going to do a translation, and he ordered the translation of this book. They call it the New Testament, right? Because he's putting back information that was kept out of it, right, in this book. He's putting back information that Rome decided, I'm not putting this inside of it. Leave that out. I don't need this. The confusion between the two things is because it's not two things, it's one thing, right? The information that the Israelites, right, put down on scrolls were their experience. All of the experience are not the word of God, right? Now, the outsiders who came in and tried to translate these words exaggerated information within it. They don't know. It's not their history. They cannot tell the history because it's not theirs. They weren't there. They're not descendants of the people, right? And even though they had some people who were giving them understanding of the language, how to translate, you understand me? They fully didn't understand what they were doing, and they tried to put it in a language where there are rules that govern that language, right? So it has to go in a certain context within that language, and if it doesn't fit, it would be out of place. So you can't say they and theirs are them and two S's behind two words. You understand? We have noun, pronouns, we have adjectives, right? So we have these different things in English where it's going to change the context of what the story would be. Do you understand? So when you're reading, you have to read with deeper understanding to know what's been said here in this book. Can't take this for face value, my people. Please do not. Not everything here is true. You know what I mean? Well, so the phone, nobody's here today. So to answer the phone, go through the board, and nobody's here. We could answer and talking, and have an open conversation. And we're definitely gonna do that next week. Have an open call where people can call in and actually talk about, Yeah, my people. So there is no such thing as New and Old Testament. Remember in Genesis, Moses said, the Messiah said, Moses, if you believe Moses, you would have believed me. And this is in the time when the Messiah come, because he was quoting from what they call Old Testament, right? The same book. Or he was quoting from the teachings of the prophets. Let's put it like that. Moses. So Moses is considered Old Testament, and all the prophets before the Messiah, right? They're considered Old Testament. Now when they say New Testament, they're talking about the time when the Messiah come, and whatever the scribes write, whatever they was wrote about the Messiah during that time, and you know what I mean. But it's not new. All of these are different dispensation in time. The information happened in different generations, right? And it was written down not as in the idea like this. There were important things that happened, but because these people were well rounded, right? They would have documented what happened. Like, okay, you live in Brooklyn. Oh, yesterday on the 23rd, I see a guy run down another guy and shoot it. They would be documenting their encounter. Notice when they mention other groups of people, right? And the reason why other groups are mentioned in their story is because they had an encounter with that group of people. They weren't friends with they weren't friends with the Evites, right? Or the Haggites, or the Moab. They weren't friends, right? But because they encountered them, they spoke about the war, or spoke about an encounter with those people, because they were documenting their experience. You understand? The Canaanites, they weren't friends with them, right? So they wrote about their experience with those people, or the war, and it's only told. The story has been told from their perspective, not from the Canaanites, because there's no history of them writing things about themselves. But these people was advanced writing about themselves. So therefore, you would have the information. You don't know what these other people thought of Israel, unless there are some hidden history somewhere out there about them writing about these people that they knew about. But because Israel was advanced, right, in writings and many other things, they documented what happened to them. Now, it's not every word, as I said in the book, is pertaining to the Most High, and that's what the title of the video is the Bible the complete word? And no, it's not, right? And it's not a holy book. This is what they called it, right? The Holy Bible, because they claim that is the Word of God, and the Word of God is holy. Now, there are things here that the Most High said, and there are things here that the prophets have said, and there are things here that the people who had authority, right? And I spoke about this earlier. If you're a leader for a group of people and you're corrupted, what's going to happen? It means that you're going to corrupt your people. If they followed you and they continue to follow you and they don't question your authority, you'll corrupt them. So you have political people who wanted political gain, would write things down, what they deem was right to them, and put information down. This is why when you're reading, man, you have to have an open mind, my friend. My brothers and sisters out there, you got to think. You have to think very deep. You can't just say things because it sounds good. People had different agenda. You have to talk about the elders in Israel. Not all of them was following the rules. Some of them went against the rules. This is why Israel got kicked out. So you have to understand the information that would have been documented by some of these people, what they thought was best, and what they wrote, right, on scrolls, because they think, because they're leaders, they have their own idea to input. Not all of the word in the book is the Most High word. You understand? Now they tell you about the encounter with angels and the encounter that they had with the Most High. You understand me? The encounter that they had with the Most High, and that was one of the things that's most important. So they would talk about different things. So the Most High spoke to Moses. This was documented. When he had an encounter with Moses in the mountain, this was documented. When he spoke to Moses to go to Kemet to go deliver the Israelites, then, and when he, wherever he spoke, it was documented that he spoke to them. When Abraham spoke to these two persons and he called them Lord, when you hear the word Lord in the Bible, it doesn't mean that it's the Creator they're talking to. These are servants of the Most High. These men acknowledge him. They'll call him Lord, or they'll call them gods, but they're not the Creator. We're confusing things when we see that. And remember, the Messiah, right? He was supposed to follow the order of Melchizedek. Wonder why you don't find a lot of information about Melchizedek in the Bible, right? Because how could the person that they say is the Creator, which is this Jesus person they claim, right, is God, and yet they're saying he has to follow the order of Melchizedek, right? He had to be an high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Why? See, when you go back, you're going to understand why the Messiah came here in the first place and why he told them what he told them. He said, don't pray on me, but pray on he who sent me. And he was telling them over and believe on he, who sent me. Don't believe me, believe for the work's sake, right? For the work. If you don't believe me, fine, don't believe me. But do you see the work that happened? It's not my doing, my friend. This is the powers of the Most High. It's not me. I'm telling you this. I didn't come here to do anything of myself. Was he lying when he said that? I didn't come to do anything of myself. Yet they will tell you that he had a wife and he had kids. And he told them, I didn't come here to do anything for myself. I come here to do the Father's will. The Father didn't say to have a wife or to have children, then I'm exempt from this. Even when his mother, when he was young at 13 and went to the temple to preach, his mother worried looking for him. He said, why you worry? You know why I'm here. You know the duties I come here to do. Why say you worry about me when you know my duties, what my Father sent me here for? So he didn't come here to do other things that they lied and they proclaim and saying all kind of nonsense. Please, my people, wake up. And definitely we're going to continue this. Brother Shakur, man, next week we're going to make sure the phone lines are running and I'm not here alone, where we can be respond to the calls as they come in. Right now, we're here. So next week we'll definitely open the line for whomever want to call in and have a dialogue with us or talk about anything. We can definitely do that. We're extending the time. We're exceeded the time now. So my sisters, brother out there, I really truly appreciate you guys for coming in, and and I'm truly sorry about this week, but definitely I will make sure that the phone lines are open next week before we start the program, so you guys can call in. And whoever want to call in and talk with us can talk and bring a question and get your Bible and bring your open Bible and let's talk about it, man. Because we're here on the naked truth to speak the truth that is naked and not covered. There is nothing hidden here. And as bold as we can be, that's what it's about here in the naked truth. And each and every Friday, that's what's going to be happening here on Skunk HTV. So I want you guys to log in, and whoever didn't subscribe yet can do that. Please feel free, feel comfortable. Those of you who have questions, to leave your comments and ask about anything. We can definitely get on that topic next Friday. So I want you guys, as I said, the Israelites out there, all the descendants of Israel are the descendants of, Jacob or Jacob, or Yahudi, all of the people out there who are descendants are chosen, people that the Most High has chosen. You'll be going through some hardship, very, very hardship. You'll feel like you don't belong among the other groups of people. They will make you feel this way. So you'd know yourself. You'd know that, okay, I don't belong. You won't be able to live in their neighborhood. They will reject you. You will see these things, and the most important thing, you'll be called a byword. A byword. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what that means. Nigger, right? Black. You understand me? These are the words that you'll be called. You will not be called who you are as a nation of people. You won't be called Israel anymore, right? Jeremiah told you you'll be discontinued from your heritage, and so it is. So we're talking about Deuteronomy 28 through 68. You guys can go and read that for yourselves. And not only that, you can read Leviticus 20, verse 23. Read that for yourself, my brothers and sisters, and get some understanding on that. And if you want to talk about that next week, we can definitely go over everything and get into it, because it's all about knowing yourself, right? Knowing what the truth is, right? No, learning how to overcome, right? And this is what we need to do here on the Naked Truth. And I want you guys to be a part of that journey with us here as we, educate the people out there. Yeah, the real children are here, man. The ones that are scattered among the nations. 12, the 12 tribes exist today. Even they try to act like they don't know but they know who they are. They won't tell you collusion, collusion, collusion. But anyways, you know what it is, my brothers and sisters out there who are tuning in. The 12 tribes, the Israelites, Judah are scattered at the four corners of the earth. They're everywhere in every nation right now. And they are not the richest. They are the poorest. They are the lowest of the low among the people. They will be treated this way until when the Most High wake them up, or when they wake up and seek the Most High, then he shall gather them again and bring them back. So I don't know where Christianity get this idea that the Israelites are done away with and they're not important anymore. Yet they're promised for them in the end. It's crazy to think that, right? They want to brainwash you and mislead you down a path where it's too late for you to redeem yourself. So I'm telling you, you have the time today. Take your time to find out the truth. Don't say, oh, well, I didn't have time. I had to go to work and I didn't do this. And when the time fall upon you, there is no escape from that judgment. So I would advise you, my brothers and sisters, take time out of your day to study and understand what this book is saying. Observe the things that are happening around you. I gave you some scriptures. Deuteronomy 28 through 68 is going to explain to you the blessing and the curse. And you're going to fit those curses with who you know, because the prophecy has to be true, right? If it's a lie, then it cannot fit anyone. Then you would read it and it doesn't align with your reality, your present time. So you would know that, okay, this is not true. But if you're reading it and you're aligning these things that happen to some people or a group of people, you will understand who you are, where you belong. If you're a descendant of slaves and you didn't willingly come into the Western Hemisphere, but you were taken here, right? You were captured and taken here, just like the book said. A nation will come against you with fair countenance, right? As swift as the eagle flight, right? And you shall have no love for the young or the old, right? And it shall take you away, and their language, you shall not know their language. You nor your fathers didn't know about them, right? Where they were. They just come upon the scene in the 1400s and that's it. They sweep you away, take you into captivity, and this is where you're at now. You're born here. You say you're American. Some say them are Guatemalan, them are Panamanian, all kinds of different titles we claim because you lost your identity. You don't know who you are. So you say you're everywhere. Anyway, you're born now and you're different from the other group of people. You claim that, okay, I am Puerto Rican. I am from Panama. I am Jamaican, I'm American, I'm from France, I'm Germany, I'm whatever, wherever you're born, you'll claim that. No, you're a Gentile among the Gentiles. And this is what Paul was sent out to do, to speak to the Gentiles among the Gentiles who are Israelites. Don't get it twisted, don't get it confused, my people. We'll talk again later on. Do stick around for ATO, that will be coming up next, so don't go nowhere. Entertainment at its finest. Yes, so stick around, everybody that's in the chat. Thank you so much again. And next Friday, I promise you guys, we're definitely going to open the phone lines so you guys can call in at will and have a more open discussion for other people, especially some people who think that they're versed in the Bible and they want to come out and talk about what they know. You're welcome anytime you want to. You understand me? Yeah, definitely. Shaul, come next Friday, we'll be here. We can come in and have a dialogue next Friday, man. Every Friday. This is your home. Anytime you're ready, we can come in and we can sit down and have that discussion there. Because it's all about the truth, man, and establishing the truth for our people. You understand me? And for the people that are lied to outside of our people. You understand me? Who would have probably been doing good in the earth, but because of their ancestors and their lies, corrupted them to continue following that nonsense. So yeah, we have to be a light, a beacon of light for those who are seeking the truth here at Skunk H TV on the Naked Truth. My people, much love and respect to you all, and I hope to see you guys next week. May the Most High bless you guys, and you're going out and you're going in. And we're looking forward to see you again next Friday. Until then, one love to everyone, and stay tuned for ATO Entertainment. Right, it's coming up right after this stream. So thank you so much again. Much love to you guys, and we will see you then.